Hey everybody, it's Greg. James and I are out here at Riverbend Disc Golf Trail for the Ohio Winter League Series 6 in Findlay, Ohio on a freezing cold day. It's about 22 degrees. There's about 4 to 6 inches of snow already on the ground here. And we are getting started on hole 10. James's first throw kind of pushes over in the headwind, turns over a little bit and catches a tree.
Ready?
Yep.
I'm going to be throwing my Infinite Discs G-Blend Emperor. And I've got ribbons on my discs so that I don't lose them in the snow. And I hit the fairway, not unhappy with where I ended up. James with a little pitch out there for a tap-in par. And I've got an approach here with my K3 Berg. And catches the wind and just pushes way deep past the basket. Winds were up to about 16 miles an hour. But I hit the putt to save par from edge of circle, boost of confidence there after hole 10. And we're on to hole 11, par 3, 326 feet. I'm throwing my Chris Dickerson FX2. And it hooks up just before the tree. The basket's kind of tucked off to the left. James has got a lot more power than I do. He's pushing, kind of catches the front of that tree and lands right behind me. You see the basket there just on the other side of that tree, so I'm really just trying to get into position to tap this in, so I'm going with my A2 and just landing short of the basket. James has got a really tough approach here. I think he's got his soft judge. Just kind of flicks it around the corner in there, and I mean, very nearly runs the basket. It was a really impressive shot from there. You'll see me putting today with a brown Gateway Wizard. I like the OWLS plastic, the grippiness in the cold. It's really nice. And we both tap out for par. We're on to hole 12. And you can see me kind of changing my mind here. I was thinking about going with a backhand turnover with my SV. Decide I'm going to try the forehand because I didn't want the backhand to stall out and go straight ahead into these bushes. The basket is through that gap to the right. There's a tree of blocking your route. And exactly what I didn't want to do is what I did with my Firebird here. And I threw it directly into a thorn bush, which was not where I wanted to end up on this hole. James is throwing one of his favorite discs. I think this is his Z-Glow Thrasher. Very nearly gets through that gap, and he's just going to have an open pitch up for his approach. And you can see my disc down in front of me in that thorn bush. I took casual relief off of this so that I wasn't just shoving my whole body under these thorns. And I think I eventually kind of settle on trying a little backhand flex and grab my Streamline Flare because it's just so overstable. I figured if I could flick it through there, it might get a little bit of distance.
Got through.
And it just about did.
So just
I'm recording the commentary for this 2 days after this event. Still kind of recovering from hiking through the snow for 5 hours. We do 2 rounds back to back. This is going to be the first of 4 videos from this event. And I thought it would be nice just to show James and I out on a course, you know, playing maybe more competitively than we have done in our sort of fun rounds on the channel. And you'll see in the background a few times Rob, who was on our card, is a really fun guy to play with. I played with him at a separate OWLS event.
It's a continent on the other side of the ocean.
And we're actually out playing this event because at the beginning of the summer, or excuse me, winter, I reached out to the folks that organize OWLS to see if we could sponsor a CTP mystery box at each of their events, and they were kind enough to allow us to do that. So just after this hole 14, which is a little tunnel shot, basket's off to the right-hand side. Hole 15 has our CTP on it.
nice.
And again, I went with my streamlined flare. It's super overstable, and even kind of turning it over toward the trees, I managed to get through. James's forehand kind of shot up in the air and took him off into the woods here. He's just trying to scramble for par. And I've got a really narrow gap here, so I'm trying to put it close and pulled it a little bit right. Happy to have an easy tap out for my par.
He's ready. He can shoot if that's cool with you.
James is lining up his par putt. And honestly, I don't know what happened here. I don't know if Rob walking behind the basket was distracting or if there was a gust of wind. You might also hear some dogs barking in the background. There's a lot going on at this park, even on a cold day like today. Cross-country skiers, people jogging on the trail that goes around. About 40 or more of us out here for this event. You can see some of the facilities behind James there. And he's going to take his first bogey, which I think puts us both at 1 over par. Oh, excuse me, we were on hole 13 previously. Now we're on hole 14. Par 4, 428. And I just completely failed to get this fee up in the air. The snow is a little bit kind to me and slides it along a little bit. And James again going with that thrasher. Turns it over a little bit. He's going to be in the weeds slightly. This was my first time playing in this amount of snow, and the ground play that you get from discs in the snow is really unpredictable. Sometimes they hit the snow and they slide and skip and, you know, just glide their way along the top of the snow. Other times you catch someone's footprint or something, and it just digs in and you can't find it. It's really, really unpredictable. James with a really nice pitch out here from the woods, I think with a zone. Puts himself right next to the basket. My A1, again, threw it a little too high, pushed to the right. And I think I'm straddling out to the left because that tree is just slightly obstructing my view, and I didn't put enough power on it. This OWLS event is an unsanctioned league series that travels around Ohio. We've played in Ontario, Ohio, Delaware, Lima, Urbana. We've been all over the state this year. This is the 6th of 8 events, and you can see why it's called the Winter League Series, because it is absolutely frigid out there. This is hole 15. James put it right in the middle of the fairway. We've got our 6-sided disc CTP sign there, letting everybody know what they're playing for on this one. And the tee pad you can't see here is really icy and sketchy, so I don't know if I'm even using it. But I go with my Chris Dickerson FX2. I'm super nervous about slipping on these tee pads. I've had ankle issues in the past, surgery. So I'm just happy to be inbounds right of that path.
Get in there.
Let's go.
And I was really pumped up for this birdie putt, as you can see, kind of jogging through the snow as best I could.
Yes, sir.
Felt good to hit it. I think that was the second big putt after hole 10, and had a lot of good vibes and momentum going after these first 5 or 6 holes. James left his just a little bit low, so I think he's going to be tapping out for a par. And he is indeed. And we're out to hole 16, par 3, 236 feet. The basket is straight ahead along this tree line. And I'm going with the Prodigy F5, which I will admit was one of the first times I've thrown this disc. I didn't put enough hyzer on it, and it pushed immediately to the right. And so James, seeing what I did, decided that looks good. I'll go to the same place.
Twins.
Except I'm going to have this tree pitch me up quite a bit shorter. Man. And just recently I started bagging quite a few Prodigy discs. I'm a big fan of my FX2. This is my A2, which I like for little approach shots. Kind of flicked it over, hit a couple branches, but still got close to the basket.
Oh gosh, why am I pulling every single
And you'll see a couple times, both James and I throughout these rounds, pretty disappointed with our shots. The conditions, with it being so wet and cold, you know, there's up to 16-mile-an-hour winds on some of these holes when you get out in the open. It was really difficult to keep a consistent grip on the disc, so we both salvage our kind of sloppy pars there on hole 16. We're at hole 17. And this is that ground play I'm talking about. I mean, that shot should have dug into the snow, but it skipped all the way along to within about 40 feet of the basket somehow, just sliding across the top of the snow. James has thrown his Page Pierce nuke. Great line. Oof, very nearly.
I completely lost it. Was it close?
It was so close.
I think you can just see his disc up there just beyond the basket. So close.
Let's go!
And that's another big birdie putt for me. I'm feeling absolutely fantastic at this point. And James is picking up the CTP on this hole 17, which didn't quite stand to the end of the event today. You know, with 2 rounds, you get a lot of people, at least on the advanced cards, landing under the basket, and we are competing with them on those CTPs. We're both playing in rec. Here's an interesting T sign at hole 18. This is a par 5, 450. My hat's not cooperating, so I'm giving up here.
All right, ready?
Yep.
And I'm throwing my Discmania Neo Enigma. I get a decent rip on it. That's probably just shy of 300. I'll have an approach shot from the right-hand side of the fairway. I think James has thrown his Simon Lizotte Skyrider, which congratulations to the giveaway winner from our last video who picked up a Skyrider as well. We're going to be doing more giveaways on the channel from time to time.
Yep.
So make sure you subscribe and stick around. This is also going to be the last hole of this video here.
What's up?
And I think, yeah, so I had a nice little approach shot with my A1. James is going with the Berg. Drops it pretty close. And James leaves it just a little bit short. He's going to have to settle for a tap-in birdie here on hole 18. And I'm lining up to convert the eagle on hole 18. I'm really happy about that front 9. I'm at 3 under. James is 2 under. We'll see you here in a little bit for the back 9 of round 1, followed by 2 more videos for round 2. Like and subscribe, and we'll catch you in just a little bit.